From a unique toy store to being a firefighter for the day, to water, the gold of the 21st century, we're looking at recent favorite stories from one of our favorite places, the Denver Mint, on this edition of Connected Colorado. Hi everyone, I'm Gary Shapiro here at the Denver Mint, one of the most iconic institutions in the state. In just a little bit, we're going to take you down into the production area for an amazing tour. But first, we want to visit a fire station. What if you could go to a fire station and get in on the action for a day? Some Denver city leaders and workers did just that. Come on.
We are doing a Fire Operations 101. Subject matter experts showing everyday people, including council members, what they do, how they do it.
We have a lot of different apparatus out here. We've got our heavy rescues, we've got our collapse rig, we have our dive rescue, we have our drone unit. So we are very proud of what we do. We're the only people that say, I get to go to work today. So the men and women out there are excited. They want to show off and they want to show you all the wonderful things we do.
This is so fun!
My name is Kaylee Dancy, and we're just out here helping you guys.
Woo! That's tight. And I got high waters. I'm back in high school.
You know, I have heels on right now, but I'm planning to, switch to some boots.
For these, you want to always at least clip 2, and you just slide those in right there. If you want all 4. It's a little hot and you guys aren't actually going in a fire. So
okay. But if I were going into a fire, I would need all 4?
All 4, and you'd button everything up and you'd have a lot more gear on. These ones you can adjust.
Good, because my melon is huge.
Fire Ops 101, it's a chance for us to bring our partners in the city, individuals from city council, council aides, council members, get a chance to find out, how we could complement each other.
I think it's an important opportunity for us to not only collaborate, but build camaraderie between our offices and those that serve the entire city in Denver Fire.
I think one reason is because we see all these funding requests for equipment, and actually I have a number of times sort of asked for more detail or more understanding.
I think that the biggest takeaway is to actually see what we do on a daily basis. We could be called on a medical call 1 minute, we'll be doing auto extrication the next minute, and then also a fire. So to actually see exactly what we do on every single day of our jobs.
An example of equipment that we just got to use was new Jaws of Life type tools that are handheld and will cut right through a car. I got a souvenir. Cut a little chunk off a car. And they move fast, they're easy to carry, and I'm really glad that our department has them.
And we want to make sure that what we're doing is in alignment with the visions and values of our constituents and the city council members, and ensuring that we're identifying areas that we can be better and growing from those opportunities.
Today we climbed up a bunch of stairs. We got to put out a fire of a burning van.
We have a car fire on an engine here. There's 4 of us. So my job is I'm on the nozzle, and then Q here is going to be doing search and rescue basically inside the vehicle. He'll be popping doors, breaking the glass, making sure there's no victims or anything like that inside. And that's his job. So my job on the nozzle is to protect him, and that's what you're going to be doing today. All right? You feel that pressure, right?
Yeah.
So you're going to hit the engine. I bet the engine's on fire. You're going to hit in there.
We even got to ride the boom all the way as far up as it goes.
This is great.
67 degrees of elevation. And now I'll take us over.
The steeper the angle we go to, the more stable this feels up here.
firefighters, that's a term that we're very proud of. That is probably one of the most dangerous and difficult things that we do. However, with the 145,000 calls that we run every year, approximately 67% of those are medical. Some things we're able to perform now that we weren't in the past was we could start IVs now, we could do advanced airways, and really have an opportunity to make a difference when it comes to patient care. Obviously, fighting fires is something we train for and prepare for because those, again, one of the most dangerous activities we'll participate in. Technical rescue, under the ice, over the ice, open water, confined space, structural collapse, hazmat releases.
That's right.
We've got some things that are very high risk types of incidents, and some examples of that here today would be our technical rescue team rappelling out the side of the building. So there's a whole gamut of what we do, and we've got to be prepared for everything.
And the last thing we got to do is we need to search for victims.
The one thing that's different about firefighters is when people call 911, sometimes 911 doesn't know who to send that call to. They send it to us because we're good at problem solving. We'll find a way to make it better.
On display here at the Denver Mint are some toys, some pretty creative piggy banks. And speaking of toys, there is a store in Aurora that is geared toward the toy hunter, but maybe the most important thing about it is the person behind it.
What do we sell here? Fun. Hey guys, what's up? I'm Lewis with Monkey Paw Toys. We sell collectibles, toys, comics, vintage gaming, a little bit of everything. Best sellers, brands such as Star Wars. Hey Lola, hi. Vintage G.I. Joe, vintage Transformers, all the way to stuff that isn't even out yet. I know people. First item that we have is this Lego display. So it was a Toys R Us display. So this is about $10,000. I do have a favorite item, the custom G.I. Joe. It has my face on a little G.I. Joe body. This was my entire collection, and my girlfriend said, "You have way too much stuff, so you gotta get rid of it." I collected this, and it made me feel good about myself. I want to give that to other people.
I used to buy these from Toys R Us as a kid, so it's just really cool. It's so nostalgic to come and touch these things.
When people want that one specific item and to have it, I can see your face just light up. That's awesome. You ever hear that saying that if you love what you do, it's not a job? That's how I feel. What inspired me to do it was my friends. So I was very nervous because I'm disabled, I have cerebral palsy, and I was always worried about how people would perceive myself. But I've had a lot of friends that give me that nudge, like, hey, don't be afraid, just do it. I've always wanted to be an advocate for people with disabilities, and I've always thought if I could do it, they could do it. A disability shouldn't be something that holds you back. It should be something that motivates you. You'll be surprised what you can do.
We are here in the grand hallway of the Denver Mint with the superintendent, Randy Johnson. Randy, thanks for having us.
Oh, it's great to have you here, Gary.
Talk a little bit about the history of this place.
Well, the Denver Mint has been around for a long time. This facility was built in 1904 and produced its first coins in 1906. So we really see this operation as a key part of the history of the city of Denver, Colorado. But even before that, in 1863, the United States government purchased another operation and took it over. The purpose of that was to support the Colorado Gold Rush, assaying to support the miners, changing their metals into a cash.
You talked about, of course, the Denver Mint makes coins. Everybody knows that. But what else goes on around here?
First of all, it's an amazing place to work. It isn't just a place that makes coins. It's federal employees who have immense pride in what they do for our nation. These people work together to make circulating coins that not only satisfy the demands of commerce, but also tell America's story. It's really important to us that we find a way to connect America through coins. So in addition to producing circulating coins, we also produce collector sets and coins, also known as numismatic products. Recently, we have been producing quarters with historical women on the reverse or the tail side of the coin. We know how important it is to not just tell the story of our founding fathers, but also the story of America through the ages and the people that truly helped shape our nation and our culture.
That is wonderful. You know, a lot of viewers are probably wondering, because they don't use coins that much anymore with all the electronic forms of payment, is this still a relevant place?
Well, I know many of us use other forms of payment, including myself. It is a huge economy, and a portion of our economy is done with electronic transactions, checks, but also coins. And as far as the relevance goes, I was reminded of how relevant it truly is. During the pandemic, there was a perceived shortage of coins that I'm sure you heard about. And it really wasn't a shortage of coins. There were plenty of coins in the system. What we had was a disruption in the flow of coins. And so during that time, when a lot of people were home, the Denver Mint stayed open, didn't miss a beat, making as many coins as we could to try to help satisfy that need due to that lack of flow. So during that time, it became very relevant to me that cash, coins are vitally important to our nation and our economy.
That is a great answer to that. Talk a little bit about what's new at the Mint and what the future might look like.
We always sell a quarter for 25 cents. We can never raise the price. Well, over the years, that takes its toll. And so we have to find innovative ways to reduce the cost of coins as inflation takes its toll on the cost of goods and the increase in labor and all the other things that we have to pay for to make those coins. We are always seeking robotic technology and various forms of automation, high volume production to help offset that cost. But in addition to that, we're really excited about the future of coins because we're finding more and more unique ways to tell America's story with our coins.
You are actually hiring. You're looking to expand here, right?
We are always trying to maintain our ability to provide those coins to the nation, and of course we need people to do that. What's great about the Mint is there are a lot of different occupations here. We have accountants, and human resource specialists, engineers, people making coins, people repairing machines, police, it goes on. And so we have had a tight labor market here in Denver. And so it's become more difficult for us in recent times to fill those positions. So I think if people want to become a part of this team, get on the United States government's hiring website, which is called usajobs.gov, and seek employment. Do a search on the Mint if you're interested, and we'd love to see you apply.
One last question. I can tell just talking to you that you're very proud of what you do here.
Yes. I am very proud. When you work at the Mint, it's surprising how interested people are in what you do. And it doesn't matter what job it is. Just say, I work at the Mint, and people start asking you questions. It's really like being a part of something great, and with that comes an immense pride. That pride isn't just in working for the Mint, but also in the track record the Denver Mint has in always stepping up and doing what our nation needs when called upon. Immense pride.
Congratulations for what you do here, and thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Joining us now is Joe Blackman from the Denver Mint. Joe, good to see you.
Good morning, Gary. Nice to see you.
We were talking to the superintendent about all the different jobs here. One of them is tour guide, and that's what you do. Tell me about your job.
It's a great job. I've been here 12 years, and we show people around the Mint, tell them about what we do. We have people from all over the country and all over the world who come here to visit us. The Denver Mint is one of the top tourist attractions in the city.
What are some of your favorite places to talk about in the Mint?
The one we're in right now, the Grand Hallway, because the tour ends here. We end in the Grand Hallway and in the foyer. That's where we talk a little bit more about the history and how it all began, and the beautiful artwork and the chandeliers and the marble on the floor and the walls and the security and the machine gun booth and all kinds of interesting things that people find pretty amazing to hear about.
Yeah, you mentioned the machine gun booth, and I just learned about that today. It's pretty amazing. Tell us what that's all about.
Well, that was installed in 1936 and we used it until 1963. And the reason that it was installed, as you'll recall from your history lessons, the 1930s were a time of world tension. There were rumblings of war. And the government felt that the gold would be safer inland than on the coast. So in 1934, all of the gold from the San Francisco Mint was moved here to Denver for safekeeping. That machine gun booth was installed just in case somebody decided they were going to try to get in here and steal the gold. And an officer would man that post about an hour at a time, and he'd have with him a Thompson submachine gun, a Winchester rifle, a pistol. If all else failed, the policeman in that sentry box could step on a pedal which would release tear gas in 20 different places right where we're standing. That's not been used ever. And that was part of the machine gun booth. And by 1963, it was deemed we didn't need that anymore, but we kept it there. And there's actually an officer, his name is Lefty Luger, and he's been sitting in there since 1936.
Bet he's getting pretty tired of it. I think it's really interesting that it costs a lot of money to make money, right?
It's true.
Yeah, talk a little bit about that.
Well, we lose money on the penny, you may have heard of that. We lose money on the nickel as well. But we make money on the dimes and the quarters because we sell our coins at face value to the Federal Reserve Bank. That's the majority of what we do. And then we have what are called numismatic products, all of our collectibles. We make uncirculated coin sets. We make what are called proof coins. We make commemorative coins most years to honor different people, places, and events in our country. And then we have the coins that are made at the West Point Mint in New York. We call those investment coins. Solid gold, silver, and platinum. A lot of people like to own precious metal in the form of coins. All of that together gives us enough revenue to pay all of our own expenses, cover the losses on the penny and the nickel. We provide free tours to the public. We go out to schools and civic groups to do free presentations, and we have money left over. The Mint is a self-funded federal agency, and that's how we pay our own way, by selling the coins and all of our products. And whatever money we have left goes back to the general fund of the U.S. Treasury.
That is terrific. Joe, it sounds like you really love your job. Hey, can we take a little tour behind the scenes here?
We're going to take a tour on the production floor, and we're going to show you where the U.S. government makes sense.
We have our safety gear on, including our steel-toe shoes, and we're with Tom Feasing in the production area. Tom, can you give us a tour?
Yes, let's go see how millions of coins are made here every day, starting with giant 10,000-pound coils. Right this way.
Show us the money.
So Gary, for the nickel through the dollar coins, these coils arrive from private metal manufacturers in the United States. They're 10,000 pounds apiece, the length of 5 football fields. This will produce $90,000 in just an hour. Wow. You punch out all the blank coins. So Gary, this is one of 54 high-speed coining presses that can produce 750 coins a minute, over 12 and a half per second. This press is producing the Maria Talchi quarter, the last American women quarter for this year, and they literally, as you feel, are hot off the press. So obviously we can't check 12 and a half coins a second, nearly 10 million coins a day. So what we do is the operator will come over and do a spot check every few minutes and check a few coins. We're going to go ahead and have you assist us getting this to the counting machines in the sub-basement. Come.
There we go.
Good job. Hey, you're hired. So Jonathan's in charge of the automated cent line here. He's going to do an inspection for us on the 2023 cents. And we also check the thickness and diameter of each coin, besides the visual quality of the coin, before we release these. Gary, take a look at these.
I don't know if I've ever seen a penny this shiny.
And along with the penny, we'll make, of course, the nickel, the dime, and the quarters every day. We operate 24 hours a day, 5 days a week on 3 different shifts.
Pretty wild.
If you safely step up here, Gary, you can see the coins being counted and counted down before your very eyes.
Oh yeah.
We could fill one bag in less than 15 minutes.
Pretty cool.
Not your ordinary coin counter.
Never seen so many pennies at one time.
So this coil, Gary, put it on a spindle like you would a roll of paper towels. We unwind it into the blanking press. And this blanking press can punch up to 10,000 blanks per minute. Wow. It only takes about an hour to turn that coil, nearly 5 football fields long, into thousands and thousands of blank coins. If you have a sheet of metal, you have all these blank coins punched out, you have a lot of scrap metal, Swiss cheese if you will. We call it webbing, and this scrap is chopped up, shipped in little bits, and shipped back to the metal manufacturers to be recycled to start the process over again. Obviously, sustainability, environmental concerns are paramount to us here at the Mint. In fact, all the electricity generated here comes from wind and solar power that we purchase from the local energy company.
Well, that's cool.
Make sure we're a good neighbor and a good partner with the state of Colorado and America.
Okay, so what do we got here?
So Gary, those coins that you helped us with get to the count and bag room where they can be counted, put in bulk bags, and shipped to the bank. This is where they end up. In this bag vault, all of these Maria Tall Chief quarters are racked and stacked and ready to go to the central bank and then to your bank eventually.
It's obvious looking out at these machines that things go very, very fast, but how many coins can you make, say, in an hour or in a day?
So we can produce up to 50 million coins a day here if we needed to. What's needed depends on what businesses need to operate. This is simply supply and demand. If businesses need coins in their cash register to complete financial transactions, they'll go to the banks to the central bank, and then we receive an order from them once per month. So now we're producing roughly 11 to 12 million coins a day. Just in this room, where, as you see, we produce the cents, we can produce 7,500 pennies per minute, 24 hours a day, 5 days a week.
So that's pretty amazing stuff. I understand that not only do you make coins in this building, but you store gold here too.
We do. A little known fact is the United States Mint is responsible not only for making coins and metals for business, commerce, and for collectors and investors, we store and protect the nation's gold reserves. Here in Denver, 17.5% of the country's gold is stored. Wow. It's a lot, 60% in Fort Knox, and the remainder is in our West Point facility. Now, we can't show you the gold, but during the tour, we can show you a little tiny bit, about $3 million worth of gold, but there are billions inside the building.
Sir, it's been a pleasure, man. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
This is a scale to weigh the gold. This one is from the 1800s, but they still weigh the gold here at the Denver Mint. Billions of dollars worth of gold that is stored here. Speaking of gold, you know, water is the gold of the 21st century. We can't live without it. It is such a precious resource. We're going to take a look at where Broomfield's water comes from.
From the arid plains of the past to the thriving city we know today, water has always been the lifeblood of Broomfield. It was water that first allowed for the establishment of Broomfield as a small agrarian community in the late 19th century. Today, all of Broomfield's drinking water comes from surface water sources such as rivers, lakes, and reservoirs that are sustained from winter snowpack. Water is a fundamental element of day-to-day life for any community. Not only is it vital to our survival, but it supports our local economy, promotes healthy ecosystems, protects us from wildfires, and allows us to keep our beautiful parks green.
Well, we can't live without it, right?
People do take the water for granted. Most people will go out, turn their faucet on, and they don't even think twice. Most people don't even know what it is exactly what we do.
Each drop of water that we drink makes its way through a combination of both natural and man-made waterways and storage systems. This highlights the importance of long-term planning and innovative engineering solutions. Many may be surprised to learn that the water we drink does not actually originate in Broomfield or from any of the rivers or natural water bodies scattered throughout the Front Range. In fact, most of Broomfield's water comes from many miles away on the west side of a natural hydrologic boundary known as the Continental Divide. It is only through our man-made waterways that Broomfield is able to sustain the thriving and vibrant community that we are fortunate to call home. Today, Broomfield's drinking water comes from two sources: treated water purchased from Denver Water and raw water supplied by the Northern Colorado Water Conservancy District through the Colorado Big Thompson and Windy Gap projects. Northern Waters projects originate on the Colorado and Fraser Rivers on the western slope of Colorado. The CBT project is the largest trans-mountain water diversion project in Colorado. The CBT system collects snowmelt from the upper Colorado River Basin and stores it in Lake Granby. From here, water is pumped into Grand Lake and delivered to East Slope water users through a 13-mile-long tunnel beneath Rocky Mountain National Park. The Adams Tunnel is roughly 10 feet in diameter and runs as much as 3,800 feet beneath the surface of the Continental Divide. At the time it was built, the Adams Tunnel was the longest tunnel in the United States to provide water for irrigation. Over 7 years, 2 crews bored the tunnel simultaneously from each side. When they met, the alignment between the two was off by less than the width of a penny. Today, the CBT project provides supplemental water to 33 municipalities and 120 ditch, reservoir, and irrigation companies that supply approximately 615,000 acres of northeastern Colorado farmland. Although Broomfield is unable to physically recapture reused water after it is used for irrigation, it is by no means at the end of its journey. All water that is not consumed by people, vegetation, industrial processes, or is lost to evaporation eventually makes its way back into our natural water systems, where it is used by downstream water users time and time again.
I've seen Broomfield change, I've seen it grow. I've seen this plant change, I've seen it grow. So we're gonna have to improve and get better day by day, every day.
But water is, especially in the West, the most precious resource that we have. The more people can conserve water and take care of it and be good stewards for it, the better off that the entire Western region is going to end up being. For me, I consider it the most valuable resource that we have.
It's important that we're all stewards of Broomfield's water resources. Water conservation and wise water use helps reduce the risk of future shortages, especially as we face long-term drought and the over-appropriation of water supplies throughout the Colorado River Basin. This means that each of us has a part to play in ensuring a dependable water supply for future generations in Broomfield and throughout the state of Colorado.
This is one of the old safes at the Denver Mint. I'm guessing it's pretty important to have safes when you have this much money around. We are off to Brighton next, where, you know what? They're getting some pretty adorable help with some of the invasive weeds up there.
On the shore of Ken Mitchell Park, the weeds are slowly disappearing.
We use our herd here with 300 goats for holistic land management.
Jordan Sarazin founded Goat Bros 5 years ago. Now Sarazin and his wife Tony oversee 300 goats as they eat their way through Colorado.
We do targeted grazing in areas that have noxious or invasive weeds that are taking over the area.
Open Parks manager Bob Wood says this is the perfect spot for the goats to graze.
Ken Mitchell used to be a gravel mine, so the soil here is about what you'd find in a parking lot. There's hardly any nutrients to it at all, and it's very difficult to get native plants to grow here.
Woods says he's hoping the goats will give the native plants a fighting chance.
The goats, are here. Before they came out, we spread down a native seed mix that we had made that's got some grasses, some wildflowers, some woody shrubs as well.
But eating isn't the only thing the goats do.
That's why we're called hoof action grazing, because they're coming in and they're gently disturbing the ground, tilling it up.
The goats' hooves also help push the seeds that park staff had already laid down into the ground.
So when it comes out through their digestive system in manure and urine, then it's 100% organic fertilizer, which is building organic matter on top of the soil.
Sarazin says his favorite part is educating the community on the benefits of using goats as a land management tool.
I used to be a financial advisor, so I love being outside on the land, getting involved with the community.
The goats were only at Ken Mitchell Park for 5 days, but don't worry, Goat Bros will be back for some more tasty weeds next summer. If you would like to follow Goat Bros, visit goatbrosllc.com.
So I was thinking maybe I'd just kind of pick up a bag of pennies and see if I could take it out of here. But, oh gosh, that isn't going to work. Joe, come here. Joe Blackman.
Okay, Gary.
Joe, this is really heavy. How heavy is this?
About the weight of a baby elephant. If you've picked up one of those lately, you can pick this up.
Yeah, that ain't going to happen. Hey, thanks, man. Appreciate
most
it.
welcome. Thanks for coming.
to everybody at the Denver Mint for inviting us today. We'll see you next time on Connected Colorado.